A Shaolin martial artist travels to an island fortress to spy on an opium lord, who is also a former monk from his temple, under the guise of attending a fighting tournament. Enter the mythical serpent spins around three principal characters: Lee, a man selected by an office to explore a competition facilitated by Han, since they accept he has an opium exchange there. Roper and Williams are previous armed force amigos since Vietnam, and they enter the competition because of various issues that they have. It's a dangerous competition they will enter on an island. Lee is enlisted by a clandestine knowledge gathering to penetrate an island claimed by the expert criminal Han, who shows up freely just at a combative techniques competition he has like clockwork. Han mastered his combative techniques abilities at a similar religious community as Lee, who has been welcomed to competition too. At the point when Lee discovers that it was Han's men who were answerable for his sister's demise, he sets out for vengeance too. Different members in the competition incorporate Americans Roper and Williams, who were in the military together. They all before long understand that Han utilizes the competition to enroll new partners, and the people what refuses identity is killed. Bruce Lee plays a combative not entirely set in stone to assist with catching the opiate seller whose group was liable for the passing of his sister. Lee enters a kung fu rivalry trying to battle his direction to the vendor's central command. With the assistance of certain companions, Lee, a combative techniques educator, is moved toward by English insight and is convinced to go to a hand-to-hand fighting competition on a confidential island possessed by Han, a wrongdoing ruler. Lee's task is to assemble proof that will demonstrate Han's association in drug dealing and prostitution. A combative techniques master is enlisted to penetrate a medication activity, assuming some pretense of participating in an invitational contest supported by the one gave Kingpin. This was Bruce Lee's most well-known film in the West. Lee, an individual from the Shaolin Sanctuary, is approached by a man to go to a competition that is being on an island that has a place with a man named Han, who is a previous Shaolin priest who went maverick. The man tells Lee that they accept that Han is associated with opium exchange and white bondage. He believes Lee should go there and attempt to get him the proof they need, so that go there and capture Han. Lee concurs, yet is then additionally informed that Han's men attempted to snatch his sister a long time back, and as opposed to submit, she ended it all. Lee presently has an individual stake. Likewise, going to the competition is a man named Roper, who is no doubt having a difficult time for certain men who gather somehow, and Roper is wanting to find an exit from the opening he is in. Hong Kong around 1973. Lee, an individual from a Shaolin sanctuary, is an expert of the physical and otherworldly disciplines of the combative techniques, and is being visited by Braithwaite, an English regulation official. Lee has been welcomed to a tri-yearly combative techniques competition hung on an island possessed by Han, a withdrawn tycoon who was once an individual from the sanctuary yet has now turned into a maverick. Braithwaite accepts Han involves his competitions as cover for opiate and prostitution exercises. Lee hesitantly consents to enter the competition, however his hesitance to face Han vanishes when a Shaolin priest uncovers that during the past organizing of this competition, he and Lee's sister were greeted by a few endures drove by Han's own guardian, an American named Ahara. In the following a conflict, the priest cut a profound scar all over, however Lee's sister eventually died, and at her gravesite Lee vows retribution for her passing. Likewise, going to the competition are two American hand-to-hand fighting specialists, John Roper and Kelly Williams, who served together in Vietnam and followed varying ways toward combative techniques. Upon their release, Roper is on the run from mafia betting obligation gatherers, while Williams was addressed by two bigoted police whom he'd dispatched prior to taking their vehicle to get away. Every one of the three will before long wind up helpless before Han and his multitude of combative techniques contenders, as he safeguards his underground processing plant of opiates and prostitution.